about something that somebody said, but something that Jesus Christ, who left heaven and came and became one of us, has given us this assurance. It's an assurance that is testable, it's an assurance that is verifiable, and it's an assurance that is naturally believable. And this is why, John chapter 11 is one of the most fascinating chapters in the Bible. But when you read this conversation between Martha and Mary, if you go back and read John chapter 4, where Jesus has this encounter with the woman at the well, you see somehow how God reveals himself. The first verse tells us that Jesus arrived Bethany. And the Bible is telling us things that are not necessary. Why do we need to know, for example, that Lazarus has been in the tomb for 4 days? Why do we need to be told that from Bethany to Jerusalem is 2 miles away? It was not necessary. It's not information that was required. John would have just told us Lazarus that Jesus went. But for emphasis, John is telling us something that all of us can connect with. First of all, the friendship between Jesus, Martha, Mary, and Lazarus was a friendship almost everybody around the neighborhood knew. Because we are not told anywhere else about particular friendships where friendships that were institutionalized by Jesus Christ. They often went there, sat with them, ate with them, and so on. So yes, this family has been marked out. And occasionally we encounter some of those incidents that are so definite. For example, the friendship between Jesus and Peter was such that everybody knew, including a common house girl, who turned to Peter and said, even though Peter denied, I don't know the message, but no, this man is your friend. So John is setting us up by reminding us that Lazarus had been in the tomb for 4 days. And to make matters worse, the journey between Jerusalem and Bethany was only ordinarily 2 miles. So what reason would Jesus have for not visiting this family? But the strength of this narrative lies in the conversation between Martha and Jesus. And it's a lesson that all of us have to learn. Because Jesus arrived, and Martha knows what none of us will have the ability to do. Because if somebody I love, somebody you imagine you love, a priest who has been visiting their home, hears that their wife is dead, their husband is dead, their son is dead, and 1 day passes, 2 days pass, 3 days pass, 4 days pass, every other person, including ordinary neighbors, including those who have come just to eat, they all come and go. Naturally, the neighbors will say, you are always making like that Jesus is your friend. Now, you can see what has happened. Where is he? But then when Jesus appears, Martha does, because ordinarily Martha would have had every reason to just stay put. And Jesus would have come and spoken to her, and she refused to answer. And Mary too would have refused to answer. But instead, it is Martha who steps out. And then she says, Lord, if you had been here, our brother would not have died. Martha doesn't say, where have you been all this time? Now, when you follow through and if you have it, please read this gospel to the end. Because in this account, there is evidence that if Jesus had sat for exam, he will not pass. Yes. Because listen to the conversation. When Martha says, I know that, okay, we are talking of resurrection. Yes, I know. Martha says, I know that he will rise again in the resurrection on the last day. And then Jesus looks and says, I am the resurrection. How can you be the resurrection when you haven't died? But Jesus said, I am the resurrection. Martha is saying, no, we know that when we die and we get to the other end, yes, this is what will happen. But Jesus said, no. Now Jesus has cut off the past, cut off the future, and life is only a permanent present. Now if you continue with this reading, you will see even a greater display of grammatical in verse 41. Jesus came to the tomb of Lazarus and then went to pray, asking God to help him so that Lazarus would rise from the dead. And then Jesus says, Father, I thank you for answering my prayer. How can you be talking about answering your prayer? You have not answered the prayer. So Jesus is confusing the future tense with present continuous. I thank you for answering my prayer. He hasn't said the prayer. And I feel the lesson here is what separates us, as I say, from other faiths. I'm not talking about the superiority of Christianity. But that with God, there is no past, no present, no future. Because this is what the resurrection is all about. And this is why the Catholic Church talks about the communion of saints. We are here on earth, but we know that those who have come before us will enjoy a communion. And this communion is not a speculative communion. It's a guarantee, it's an appreciation, it's an acceptance, it's an appropriation of a promise that God has made. The question then is, what is our Christian? You know, we have all kinds of things that have been happening in Nigeria in the last 1 or 2 weeks. And suddenly, some of the areas of our life we consider to be sacred are no longer sacred. Some of the people we imagine by the position they hold deserve a certain amount of respect is no longer the case. But again, this is not strange in the judiciary. It's even more so in the church, and even more so in the Catholic Church. Where in my little experience, we Catholics are often the worst advertisement for what our church represents. You have a gathering, every time I address people, they say, our priests have become materialistic, our priests are going around drinking, they are chasing women, they're fine. And listen to what the Bible says. It says, St. Paul says, could anyone accuse those that God has chosen? I know that if it had been within your power, I will not be a priest. The doctor will not be here. All the priests must be here will not be here. That is if God had given you the right to decide whether I will ordain or not. But like Mbakwe said, so I've told you this story about Mbakwe. Mbakwe was one of the best politicians in this country. But they said he went to address students in the University of Nigeria and Nsukka. And when he stood up, he said, Mbakwe looked at the students. He said, when I say people, they say, Mbakwe don't fight, your father will fight the government. Your father fight the government. So yes, there are many of us who know that our son, our husband would have made wonderful praise. But your son will pray, the Reverend Father, no. And it's not a garment of honor, it's not something we wear with pride. But it is to come to tell you why the priesthood has been given to us as a gift. I was looking at you last week on the Eucharist. And the author says, every commandment that Jesus gave to us, we are broken it. If you are slapped with one cheek, not the other, forget it. We should go to Father and forget it. We should not, all the things Jesus said we shouldn't do, there's none that we haven't failed to do. He said, but the only one that we have remained faithful, the church has remained faithful to, is the celebration of the Eucharist. That one will remain faithful. And that is what I tell the Catholic Church for this number of years. And I tell people, yes, let's hear the dramatic expression, the exuberance of the Pentecostal pastor. Yes, let's preach the prosperity gospel. But please remember, it is only the Catholic Church that has a power. It's only the Catholic Church that has the power that has not been given to human beings to bring down God from heaven to earth. And it's an act that is not based on my own. It's not because I passed the test. It's not because God believed that I was good. Because even if God had asked me about my classmates, I probably would never have committed myself. So every day we must remind ourselves, what is the priesthood? Increasingly in the West, you know, it's not for nothing. And I don't want to go into conspiracy theories. But when they talk about pedophilia and so on and so on, I was in America when all this thing program. But I found it very instructive that the battle against the Catholic Church started in churches, dances, going into banquets. It is important for us to understand that without the priesthood, the Church of God will exist in different forms, but for us as human beings, we will not be cardinals. Of course, priests mean different things to different people. Remember, one of my, there's a priest who was very good. He had a lot of friends, but there was this family, they used to come to him with their little daughter. He was about 4 years old. So one day the family invited father to come and eat in their house. So father, the rest of this time was in the evening. So after leaving, my father woke after and went to the house. He knocked on the door. The little girl ran. My mother was in the kitchen. The little girl went and opened the door. So Reverend Father, it was the first time she was seeing father without his sister. She closed the door, ran to the mother, said, "Mommy, come and see, father has become a man."
Bishop,